Welcome back to Wyoming and Texas, presented by South Texas Ford Dealers. Moments ago, Coach Sark leading his fourth-ranked Longhorns to the field, and now Morgan Uber standing by with Coach Sark.
Coach, coming off of the big win last week, how do you expect your team to handle success tonight?
Well, I just want us to play good football, and I want us to play our style of football. I want really good effort. I want our guys having fun, playing the game that they love together, and then sticking together through some adversity. We're going to get faced with some adversity tonight. That's understandable. It's football. But as long as we stick through it and fight through it together, we'll be okay.
What's the next dimension of your quarterback when you were his game you hope to see him unlock tonight?
Well, I just want to make sure his composure is really good. He's fundamentally sound, and he's sticking to the plan.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Morgan, thank you so much. Man is locked in. Something switches when it is game time, and you can see it in that man's eyes. That brings us to tonight's coin toss, presented by the Texas Lottery. Texas wins the toss, and they have elected to defer. So the Wyoming Cowboys, a team that is receiving votes in both the AP Top 25 and the coaches poll, they're coming into this smelling upset because they've done it. They went up against Texas Tech in the opener, down 17-0, and still were able to pull off that upset win.
I think that goes to show the type of toughness that this team has, led by Andrew Peasley. He's a phenomenal quarterback. He stands in the pocket, he stands firm, and he delivers whenever they are asking him to. And some great plays that he made against that Texas Tech team, down 17, stands in the pocket, and then you get the final blow in Laramie, giving Texas Tech their first loss of the season.
And this is a team with a chip on their shoulder, pick number 6, preseason poll in the Mountain West. Greg Boldo has the goal to win that conference. Entering his 10th season as a Wyoming Cowboys head coach, the longest tenured coach in Wyoming football history. He knows this Texas program well, longtime linebacker coach and defensive coordinator at Nebraska under Tom Osborne, and has recruited the state of Texas extremely well. He has his guys cowboy tough and ready for this game. The weather, beautiful. Fozzie, if I told you it would be 79 degrees tonight a week ago, what would you have told me?
I would have told you you are a liar, because we are in Austin, Texas.
And this is absolutely gorgeous, a great way to get it started. Special teams, the walk-ons, everybody hyped up as Texas is back in the top 5, their highest ranking since the end of the 2009 season that had the Longhorns playing in the national championship game. There is Will Stone. He will kick it away for the Texas Longhorns. They'll try to flex their muscle first defensively. And we're off and running. Kick goes into the end zone, and that will set up Andrew Peasley and the Wyoming offense at the 25-yard line. I love the way that Craig Bohl, the head coach of the Cowboys, sums up his quarterback. He says Andrew Peasley is tough as boot leather.
Yeah, that's put on display this entire season. Struggled with a couple injuries here and there, but finds a way to always get back on the field and lead this team.
Now, this is a little bit of a switch. It was supposed to be Peasley starting, but it's the backup, Evans Svoboda, getting the start. We have not heard any word on availability for Peasley, but Svoboda, we've seen him in spot duty when Peasley has been hurt. Harrison Whaley is the running back. He is making his Wyoming debut, a transfer from Northern Illinois. And it's a quick missed tackle and completion to Ayer Asante, but Jahdae Barron and Jaron Thompson are there.
Yeah.
This is a wrinkle. We were not expecting to see Svoboda at quarterback.
Absolutely, that's something that they're probably throwing out there. We knew there were some injuries that Andrew Peasley was trying to overcome. Seeing Svoboda out there this early, though, that's something different.
We did not see Peasley play the fourth quarter of the win against Portland State. That game was out of hand at that point in time, so unclear if it's injury related or a different look. You have to believe, though, it's injury related to some extent, because Peasley is coming off what Craig Bohl says is his best game at Wyoming.
Yeah, I truly believe it probably is injury related. We don't know for a fact, but knowing that what Peasley has been able to put on tape week 1, week 2, being very efficient, leading this team, second leading rusher on this team as well. leads to show they need help there in the quarterback position.
14:30 on the game clock. 14:30.
So an adjustment to the game clock. Only 5 seconds came off, so just that to 14:30. What does this do for the Texas defense and Pete Kwiatkowski, who hasn't seen a lot of tape of Swoboda?
Yeah, they got to prepare for under center runs and also play action. I think that's what we're seeing already early in this game. They got to make a way to adjust on the fly.
And that is Harrison Whaley with his first carry as a Wyoming Cowboy. Expected to see him 15 to 20 snaps tonight. This is his debut after coming off off-season knee surgery, transferring from Northern Illinois. Swoboda transferred from Snow Junior College. He is a fantastic athlete. First third down on the road for Wyoming this season. Much different here in Austin.
Yeah, the atmosphere is electric.
And the pass is complete. If caught, that's first down yardage to John Michael Gillenborg. Gillenborg was a tight end. They caught the tying touchdown in second overtime against Texas Tech. Offense that will really utilize the tight ends.
Absolutely. That's one of their pro-style identities. They have multiple formations. They also like to throw to that quick out whenever they're on the same side boundary, so be alert for that throughout the course of the game.
Swoboda rolls out underthrown. And the Texas defense on top of it. Terrence Brooks in coverage.
Getting our first look at Anthony Hill Jr. coming into the game, as well as somebody that's been highly talked about on this defense. Had 2 sacks last week against Alabama, so he's made a huge impression and an impact for this defense already in his young career.
Made an impact in practice on Thursday against Xavier Worthy. Gave him a pop. And Worthy was like, hey, come on, man, what's going on? That's how Hill plays till the end of the whistle, to the end of practice, the game, you name it. He's only a freshman, one of the youngest on the team. It goes all out. Another carry, and this is into open territory. Harrison Whaley running away from the entire Texas defense. That's how you make your Wyoming debut. .62 yards on the first drive of Harrison Whaley's Wyoming career.
Got an inside zone play right there. Harrison Whaley sees the opening and then uses that breakaway speed to get it all the way into the end zone for 62 yards right there.
Texas defense built on intensity and effort. That's the one thing that Coach Sarkisian wanted to see early in this game. Would that effort be there? But the defense opened up, and Harrison Whaley took advantage of it. There has been a lot of slow starts around college football today. Bama, Georgia, Florida State, Kansas State, Notre Dame. Texas doesn't want to go on upset alert this early. Harrison Whaley excited the Wyoming fan base after transferring after a nearly 2,000-yard rushing career at Northern Illinois, and second carry goes the distance. What happened?
Yeah, right there, the backers got outplaced. Whenever you're looking at it inside zone, you got to read and step with the defensive line in conjunction. And Harrison Whaley found that opening and took it the distance, 62 yards, in an explosive way.
That's the longest gain allowed by this Texas defense so far this season. So an early wake-up call. Now time to make a response. We saw them punch back, although it was later in that win against Alabama. And that kick is out of bounds before it gets into the end zone. So this will be great field position for Quinn Ewers to see how he follows up his best performance in Burn Orange.
Absolutely. You talk about the way that they struck back. Now they were punched in the mouth at home. Wyoming strikes first. Can Texas find a way to get the momentum back on their side?
Texas is elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. First down.
As clean as it gets, 349 through the air, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, no sacks. Ewers awarded 3 National Player of the Week awards. It has been a busy week, but this is the young man that called the players-only meeting before practice on Tuesday to make sure the focus was there. And we have some movement before the snap, and that ball was simply dropped by Jordan Whittington, but there was a flag.
Offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And so that is a false start on Hayden Connor. This is also a big difference from what we saw against Alabama. No procedural penalties against Bama.
Absolutely. It's crazy. At home, you feel like it'd be to your advantage. They got to find a way to get started faster.
Jonathan Brooks will start at tailback. So Brooks getting the start at tailback. It was a physical performance for him and C.J. Baxter in Tuscaloosa, but Baxter, Sark told us he would be surprised if he plays in this game as it's broken up. Looking to Xavier Worthy as Baxter dealing with a sprain on top of his foot. Enriquez Davis breaking that one up.
Yeah, thrown a little bit behind the receiver. That RPO style is what they're utilizing there. The inside zone, read it just a little bit late behind on X.
2nd and 15, Ewers quick pass and behind A.D. Mitchell and dropped.
Whenever you're taking a look right there, seems as though the ball is right behind him. He can't sell it in front of him because that outside linebacker, that nickel back, is sitting right in the passing window. He's trying to get it fit to A.D. Mitchell in a tight way, just not on the same page right there.
3rd and along 15. Texas a bit out of sync to start this one, offensively and defensively. Pressure on Ewers, but a clean pocket, and that's overthrown in a tight window to Jordan Whittington. So a long touchdown run allowed by the Texas defense, and then a quick 3-and-out by the offense.
Yeah, and it all started with that procedural penalty that you talked about. You get off balance, 1st and 15, now you're off schedule. How do you find a way to get going early on in this game?
It's going to bring on the transfer from Stanford, Ryan Sanborn. Punts it away. Caleb Cooley, the returner, inside the 20. Makes 2 Longhorns miss. A 3rd to the 30. Eventually dragged down. There is a late flag down around the 47-yard line.
Usually during these types of penalties on special teams, it's usually a block in the back or a holding. So I'm curious what the ref's going to call.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Return team number 44, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So that's against Micah Young. It will back up Wyoming. Looking for 44 in white, the top right part of your screen there. But Morgan, we need an update on this Wyoming quarterback situation.
Easily the starter down here in full pads and all, and even wearing the armband. He put on the headset between those last series, and he was the first guy over to his teammate, backup Evan Swoboda, to congratulate him on that first touchdown of the game. He's moving around here fine, really being a cheerleader almost for every single person, high-fiving all of his guys. He was out here during warm-up, so it's unconfirmed as to why he's not starting, guys.
Very interesting. Thanks for the update, Morgan. Jalen Ford with the stop. That is the epitome of toughness at the quarterback position. He was hit multiple times. It was a rough outing against Texas Tech in the opener. At one point he hit as he was trying to give himself up to slide. Swoboda came in for the very next play, and we saw him a few times. But Peasley was able to return, played 3 quarters last week against Portland State. However, Swoboda, the man leading the charge. He will roll and throw, but here comes pressure. And the pressure applied by Alfred Collins, forcing that incompletion.
Yeah, Coach PK has talked about the progression of Alfred Collins being able to step into a role that they need him to step into, and he showed in a big way why he's being relied on, especially in 2nd and long situations.
Texas defense with 7 sacks in 2 games. They've worked on these situations all offseason, getting to the quarterback on 3rd down. Sam Scott checks in at running back. Swoboda to throw. Thompson jumped it, and that's a PBU. Wyoming will punt.
What a great play by Jaron Thompson right there, being able to read that, deflect the ball, playing tight coverage, also playing the sticks. Phenomenal job by that defense.
Thompson had himself a pick against Alabama. It was after a very difficult play where he was beat. His head was down. Jahdae Barron came to the sideline, picked him up, so that was his favorite moment of the game. Being able to pick up his teammate Thompson, and you see him come right back with an interception. Good special teams by Wyoming, the best in the Mountain West Conference. End over end punt. Xavier Worthy, some moves to the 50, still up, looking for blocks. He's got him to the 40. Another stutter move. And Texas cooking now with great field position.
Sometimes you just got to find a spark, and Xavier Worthy might be that spark on special teams as he feels it cleanly, and then finds a way to get upfield, make guys miss, and then create more after contact.
And remember, season opener, they were flat early against Rice. What turned it around? Xavier Worthy punt return in the second half.
Absolutely, 20 yards right there. Explosive play that could hopefully catapult and be a catalyst for this offense to be able to build off of.
20-yard return. 3 straight passes to start the game for Texas after a false start. All incompletions and a quick 3 and out. Swing pass to Keelan Robinson. Speed to Byrne. Gets a block by Worthy. That's going to be a first down. Xavier Worthy is not the biggest dude, but he is proven he is tough as nails.
Absolutely. That's one thing he loves to do. And if you take a look right here, Xavier Worthy finds a way to be physical at the point of attack, gets Keelan Robinson an explosive play, first down for the Texas Longhorns.
16 yards for the Alabama transfer. Brooks and Robinson both in the backfield. Robinson motions out. Ewers to throw. Lofts it to the end zone to JT Sanders, overthrown, incomplete.
Timing's a bit off there again. Play action right there, trying to feed off of what they did just a bit ago. But timing, JT Sanders and Quinn can't find it today as of yet.
Sanders coming off his first career 100-yard receiving performance, the most for a Texas tight end outside of Jermichael Finley in the Big 12 era. 2nd and 10, A.D. Mitchell at the bottom of the screen, now in motion. It's going to go to Brooks, running left side. That's good for a couple of yards. This is a defensive front for Wyoming that they feel, especially at defensive tackle, with Jordan Bernanoli and Cole Goodbow, is better than a handful of teams in the Big 12 at the defensive tackle.
Absolutely, they have good depth there. Defense coordinator talked about it. Gavin Meyer stepping in as well as Ben Florentine to make a play right there.
Texas already in 4-down territory. As we know, Sark likes to roll the dice inside the 20. This is where they need to punch it in. JT Sanders almost picked off by Wyatt Eckler. He had an interception last week and almost had his second.
Absolutely right here. There's some pressure provided. They bring 6 more than Texas can block. Quinn Ewer tries to get it out fast to be able to get it to his outlet guy, not seeing that robber safety and Wyatt Eckler right there, and he almost had a turnover right in the end zone.
Secondary for Wyoming, very good ball skills. Sets up a 37-yarder for Bert Auburn. And just like he did against Alabama, he comes up with the first points for the Texas Longhorns, but they get into the red zone, and they only come away with 3. Point of emphasis for Sark coming into this game.
On Longhorn Network is presented by your South Texas Ford dealers, proud truck provider for Bevo, and in part by Bud Light. It's for the fans. And Whataburger. Stop on by Whataburger and try the patty melt today. It's an all-time favorite for a reason.
Hey, that is what it's about right there. Celebrate your victories. Texas got back from Tuscaloosa very early Sunday morning, 2:50 a.m. They met the Texas fan base at the tower, had a little party, but maybe succumbing a little too much to the rat poison is high praise for the Longhorns. Beat Bama for the first road win against the AP top 3 since 1969. Sark told us that he shared with his team the quote that he picked up from Mac Brown in the documentary on the 05 championship team, that your back is going to be sore going into the next game because you've been patted on the back too much. The tackle is made by Jeb Bush. So it's a Texas team as a players-only meeting. They're saying all the right things. They are focused on just staying the course. So what's happening?
I think right now they got a little lag coming off of last week's win. They got to find a way to snap out of it. Still very early in this ball game. 9 minutes, 41 seconds left in the first. They can find a way to turn it around with the big play right here.
Wyoming struck first, opening possession, touchdown by Harrison Whaley. Swoboda rolling and finding Wyatt Whelan as one of the top targets. Will put him in motion a lot to try to get some favorable matchups.
They like to be...
Talked about how really, even from the players, from the coaches all the way down to the players, it's been all about not letting that win get to them. And Jalen Ford, really vocal on Sunday night, 24 hours to celebrate. He said, I've seen enough. It's all rat poison now. The stats, the history, the hype, 24 hours to enjoy it. Now it's back to work. Flip the switch on to the next opponent. And guys, Coach Sarkisian did tell me before this game he expected to see his team to face some adversity tonight. We'll see how they respond here early in the first.
Trying to bring down Harrison Whaley, who's having quite the start to his Wyoming career. Another solid pickup to set up a 3rd and short. Whaley looks so different than the rest of the Wyoming backs. DQ James, Jamari Farrell undersized. Whaley's the real deal. Swoboda stood up a bit at the line of scrimmage, but Wyoming gets the push. Big fella is still up. We're talking 6'5", 245 goes Evan Swoboda.
Yeah, he's a big one right there. One thing, Cowboy tough. We got a penalty on the play as well.
That came in late. Going right at the defensive front for Texas. That has been strided by Coach Sark as the alphas of the defense.
Illegal substitution, defense, 5-yard penalty is enough for a first down.
So illegal substitution, false start. These are all the little things that Texas did not do against Alabama.
Absolutely, only committed 4 penalties against Alabama. Alabama committed 10, and that was the reason why Texas was able to win by 10 points. But right now, Texas is the team that's suffering by penalties early on in this game.
Swoboda under center play action. They've yet to really hit on this look this season. Almost a one-handed catch by Gillenborg. They said they're getting the looks that they want on play action, just not connecting.
Yeah, on the replay right here, we take a really good look at how he sneaks back behind the defense. They use the play action to their advantage since they're rushing the ball very well. He almost brings in a great catch right there, but just a little too high for him to handle it.
2nd and 10 for the Cowboys. Passing offense, only 132 through the air per game last season, 125 nationally. This is their bread and butter. Harrison Whaley on the run game and brought down by Jalen Ford. Jalen Ford is picked up where he left off a season ago.
Absolutely, he's flying all over the place. Wyoming tries to switch it up with the gap scheme, counter play there. Running back hits the A-gap and falls right into Jalen Ford's hands.
3rd and 6, bring on those pass rushes. Justice Finkley at the top of the screen. Swoboda wants to throw, looking to his right, and it's jumped. Somehow it is caught by Whelan. It looked like potential interception or PBU, but instead it's in the hands of the man from Colorado Springs, Wyoming.
Yeah, one thing Wyoming is doing well is handling Texas's pass rush. We saw 5 sacks a week ago. They haven't been able to hit home against the voters quite yet, and then Whelan makes a great contested catch. Explosive play for this Wyoming offense.
Now in plus territory. Low snap. Swoboda with that high overhand delivery. Good for about 5 yards on first down. That's Devin Body Jr. Vandy transferred. They've got some guys that have transferred from Power 5 programs and have done a great job recruiting inside the state of Texas. It's about finding the right fit. Greg Bowl, the guy that cut his teeth on the FCS level at North Dakota State, started that dynasty. And he's heated about something, and Wyoming's going to call a timeout. So it is a day of slow starts for power programs in college football, no exception to the 4th-ranked Texas Longhorns. Craig Bowl knew he would have one of the best defenses and special team units in the Mountain West. Anything with the offense, that would be a bonus. And it's clicking here, 14 plays, 116 yards, and they are dominating time of possession, 6:51. And this is with Andrew Peasley, regular starting quarterback, on the bench for an undisclosed reason. Evan Swoboda making his first start for Wyoming. And with Harrison Whaley running wild in his Wyoming debut. It goes back to Whaley, working the middle. And Whaley is going to be met by Barron and Sorrell for the stop.
They come back right in with that inside zone run that they scored off of, had that big 62-yard run. They're still testing this Texas defense. Have they made the adjustments to stop the run? They're going to try it again.
Bowl told us between 15 and 20 snaps with Harrison Whaley. I'm not sure I'm buying that.
Might be higher after the game he's putting together so far in the first quarter.
3rd and 3, Texas fans into it. And a flag on the plate before DQ James can get going. It's going to be a false start on the Cowboys.
False start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You mentioned it earlier, Lo. This is the first time Wyoming's playing on the road away from their home stadium. This is what happens sometimes. You get on the road, the crowd gets raucous, and in Austin, there's a lot to be raucous about. That affected the left tackle right there as he false started and put his defense, or put this offense behind the sticks a little bit further.
Let's see if Texas can pin the ears back, get out to the quarterback. Anthony Hill, bottom of the screen, in traffic. Jade Barron breaks it up. And a good stand by Pete Kwiatkowski of the Texas defense.
One thing I love about Jade Barron is he reads and he reacts it. He's a student of the game. He knows they like to run those quick out routes. He sits on it, waits for them to be able to bait them into the throw, and then he breaks it up just like he did right here.
It was fascinating talking to Jade yesterday about how he studies film. He keeps a notebook with 7 to 10 stills of defensive looks, or offensive looks, I should say, that he thinks he can exploit, takes them, goes DB coach Terry Joseph, and presents those ideas. He understands the game at a different level. Punt is away. Worthy calling for the fair catch at the 10-yard line. Texas needs to get something going offensively. You were expecting them to ground and pound a little bit more.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to see at the beginning of this game is the consistency in the run game. Steve Sarkisian talked about it in Cal Flood yesterday in our coaches meeting. Can they find that consistency? And they haven't ran it as much as I thought they would early on. We'll see if that changes right now as they're backed up.
So this is what Coach Flood says he evaluates successful running on. Percentage of the runs that go at least 5 yards. It is down this season, understandably, with no Bijan and Roschon. Worthy got a block by A.D. Mitchell. It's a solid pickup on first down.
Good block right there. A.D. Mitchell may have gotten away with one. They didn't call it, so it ends up being a great block right there.
8 yards on first down. Quick out. A.D. Mitchell staying up. Will eventually fall to the sideline. Job done, though, gets the first down.
Texas going quick. Texas going quick. Sometimes you can catch the defense off balance right there, and they were able to do that as they go quick again, lining up.
Wyoming confident with this, though. They don't have a lot of pre-snap movement, not a lot of helter-skelter, in the words of their defensive coordinator, Jay Salvell. They also do not flip, which allows them to handle tempo more.
There will be replay down.
So defense needed more time to match the substitution from Texas. Brooks patient, he's got a big hole up the middle, lowering the shoulder, some physicality to finish the run. First down for Jonathan Brooks on his second touch of the night.
Explosive run right there. You got your outside zone. Jonathan Brooks cuts it up. Gain of 12 right there.
JT Sanders key on that block too. Brooks weaving. Another large pickup on first down. Give him 9.
This is what I was expecting to see this Texas offense do. Mash mode, come back, same play. Now it hits a little bit different. Jonathan Brooks makes 2 guys miss and then picks up more yards after contact.
It's been all Brooks in the backfield with the sprinkling of Keelan Robinson. No C.J. Baxter so far tonight. More toughness, right side, Brooks. You saw him running harder and harder as the game went on in Tuscaloosa. And even though the yards per carry for the Texas offense was not great, the run game was effective. Set up play action, and ultimately that final 7-minute drive, it killed the clock.
Absolutely, they didn't give the ball back, and I think that's the proudest moment that Sark was of this offense.
Speedster Jaden Blue, now a tailback. And Blue gets the carry. And we got a flag. False start in Texas.
Offense number 70, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
The closing drive was a masterpiece, a stroke of genius, and a real seal of approval that what Kyle Flood and Steve Sarkisian are doing with this offense is working. 12 plays, 34 yards, 3 first downs, eats up the final 7-14 of the game, had 2 critical third down conversions, one of those from Brooks, and they were able to draw Alabama offsides to really ice the game. There's Blue, known for the speed, drops the shoulder pads. Xavier Worthy told us that he may be one of the 3 fastest dudes on this Texas offense.
I absolutely believe it as well.
It's going to go back to Blue. And Blue ran into Cole Hudson there. And so a 3rd and long coming up for Quinn Ewers, who's 3 for 8 through the air. What do you expect from the Texas offense here, Fozzie?
I think right here, look like Texas is having an injury that they're tending to on the field, which gives this offense time to be able to try to find a play that'll work. But Jatavian Sanders, we haven't seen him utilized as much. They didn't connect early on. Quinn overthrew him in the end zone. Almost had another ball picked off by Wyatt Eckler. Maybe they find him on 3rd down in a big way.
Unfortunately, that is Cole Hudson down on the play. Right guard for this Texas offense. One of the real leaders on this offensive line. And it looks like Brooks makes contact with him, and as he goes down, the left leg. This may be one that you want to glance away from.
Gets kind of rolled up on right there. Obviously not a very comfortable position. The guy is extremely flexible, though. The more flexible you are, the better position you can be in, but hopefully he can recover from that fast.
Biggest story is the health condition of Cole Hudson. We hope he is okay. But Texas is as good of a spot as it's been in years when it comes to depth on the offensive line. DJ Campbell now checks in at right guard, and that has been a pretty consistent rotation so far this season. Big 3rd and 7. Gonna play it safe. Go to Jonathan Brooks. And this is where Sark will usually go for it on 4th down. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
That was a good surge by the offensive line and Jonathan Brooks right there.
Quick to the line here. On 4th and 1, Ewers will pick it up, but we've got a whistle before the snap. And it's actually going to be a timeout on Texas.
30 seconds in length.
So that's what we've grown to know Steve Sarkisian to do, especially this part of the field. Go for it on 4th and 1. Looked like they were hurrying to the line, but then that timeout was called.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I've been impressed with this drive is Steve Sarkisian sees his quarterback not being his usual self as of late. He's a little choppy in his footwork right now, and so he says, let's take it out of his hands and let's put it on the ground. And we see Jonathan Brooks and Jaden Blue have some really big gains right now. Set them up to be able to go for it on 4th and short. We'll see what he cooks up, some of his special plays, which makes Steve Sarkisian a great play caller.
Cole Hudson, sophomore from Frisco, limps into the medical tent. Quinn Ewers now lined up at receiver. Savion Red and Jonathan Brooks in the backfield. Red, who played the part of Jalen Milroe for the scout team a week ago, takes the snap and will keep. Red looking like Milroe with that athleticism and picking up the 1st down.
How about that? Incredible explosion right there. Got the Wildcat, got the lead blocker, and Jonathan Brooks, he goes physical on the safety. Savion Red takes his time and then finds a huge conversion for 4th and short for this Texas offense.
What do you know about the Wildcat?
I know a thing or two, but it's been a while. That's past my time now.
Mr. Wildcat himself, Fozzie Whitaker right here. Creative play call by Steve Sarkisian to convert on 4th down. Little play action, and that is complete to A.D. Mitchell. Tell you what, Savion Red has some high upside.
Absolutely.
He could be a difference maker this season for Texas.
Absolutely. As Texas goes fast, he could be one that they can rely on late in games, too.
To Brooks. Christian Jones giving him a block, reverses field to the middle of the field, and that's going to take us down to the end of the 1st quarter. So this is a win for the 1st quarter of football for the Wyoming Cowboys. They punch first with Harrison Whaley to take a 7-0 lead. It's now 7-3.
Absolutely. They find a way to fire out, but Texas seems to be on the response, getting started in the 2nd quarter here.
You're watching Texas and Wyoming on Longhorn Network. They have come to DKR to raise some hell, and the Hellraisers waiting for that chance. This place is ready to explode as Texas is trailing here to begin the 2nd quarter. 7-3 against the 2-0 Wyoming Cowboys. And man, what a beautiful night here in Austin, Texas. Everybody's loving the weather. They're enjoying this Texas drive as well. 11 plays, 68 yards, most of that on the ground. Critical 3rd down. A.D. Mitchell back to Worthy. Will he throw it again? Worthy thinking about it, trying to get the edge, and it's right at the marker. We saw him pull the trigger against Alabama. Thought he was going to do it there.
Absolutely. A smart play right there. Quinn Ewers was not open. He's also facing pressure right at the point whenever they exchange the ball for the reverse. Don't make a bad play work.
So another 4th down and 1. And Savion Red again at the Wildcat quarterback position. Red will take it. Red lowering the shoulder and converted. Get that man in the game.
What an explosive attitude play right there. It looks like the same similar style play that they did the last 4th down conversion. Faking it with Jonathan Brooks. Jonathan Brooks slows in. And then Savion Red just says, I will not be denied right here as he picks up that 4th down conversion.
6 yards for Red. He was going to be in the running back rotation, hurt his shoulder in camp, and that got him on the back end of that rotation, slowly working his way back into a more prominent role. Worthy, one man to beat. Can't beat him. As Rook Brown eventually forces Worthy out of bounds. That's a native of Salado, right down the road from here in Austin. This is one of the big points of emphasis for Steve Sarkisian coming into this game. They need to be better converting red zone opportunities into touchdowns. There's a 2nd and 8 for Ewers. 14th play of the drive. Ewers felt pressure, steps up, and there is Gunnar Helm. Will he get it? No. A foot short. Gunnar Helm can taste it.
What a phenomenal play call right there. Steve Sarkisian uses that automatic positioning that Gunnar Helm has, man. He hides him so well. Play action to Jonathan Brooks. Finds him slipping out. Gunnar Helm short just by a little bit, but it sets them up to be in a good position right now to convert.
He wants that touch. Late substitution here by Wyoming. And Byron Murphy at fullback in front of Brooks. And they're going to stop this play.
Timeout.
So Wyoming called their 2nd timeout. Got one left. But this has been the response that Texas has needed, and it's been 2 critical 4th down conversions by Red.
Absolutely. The defense made a stop, got the ball back to Texas. Texas is now going on a long drive. Even though they haven't converted on 3rd downs, they found a way to keep the drive extended with Savion Red in 4th down. This allows them to continue to put points up on the board if they take care of it and handle their business down low in the red zone right here at the goal line.
It's all about how you respond to adversity. They faced some early against Rice. People forgot about that somewhat with the way they came out in the 2nd half. It's a slow start, but Texas is responding well. 4 touchdowns on 9 red zone possessions so far this season. Trying to make that 50%. They're trying to take this battle for time of possession back. They've had it now for 7 minutes on this drive. Brooks, patient, hit short of the goal line, stood up. Easton Gibbs, the Mountain West Conference preseason Defensive Player of the Year, is there to make the stop.
Again, right at the nose of this defense, you see those defensive linemen and those linebackers making physical plays. That's what Coach Bowl was talking about, was the heart and soul about this Cowboy tough defense.
17th play of the drive, the longest drive on the amount of plays for the Longhorns this season. Murphy in at fullback. Will he lead? They're going to go to Murphy! The big boy! Byron Murphy!
You get a big man touchdown? You get a big man touchdown dance.
Sark tried to tell us he's the modern Roschon Johnson, but he was talking leadership skills, not skills out of the backfield.
One thing he does well, we already know, he is an absolute beast and an athletic beast at that. Now he shows you how good he is catching the ball out of the backfield.
I did not have that one on the bingo card. Byron Murphy, touchdown. But the fans in Austin loving it. The heart and soul of the Texas defensive front, getting it done out of the offensive backfield. Murphy, give him more. 10-7, Texas. Travis Hunter, you are on notice. There's a new 2-way star in college football, and his name is Byron Murphy. Murphy with the first offensive score for the Longhorns in the game. It started sluggish, 19 yards through the first 2 drives, but they mount the longest drive of the season, 17 plays, 90 yards, and it results in Byron Murphy, of all large figures, out of the backfield and into the end zone. 10-7, Texas leads Wyoming. That brings us to our drive of the game, presented by South Texas Ford Dealers, proud truck provider for Bevo.
Yeah, Texas got back to the ground game right here. Quinn was struggling a little bit early on. Let's put it in the hands of our offensive lineman and Jonathan Brooks, and that pays off in a big way. 4th down conversions, no problem. Savion Red, he is your go-to guy as he converts 2 4th and 1 and 4th and short goals, and then finally get it to the big man play action find him in the backfield. Soft hands by him as well.
Something about that number 90 jersey recently. Malcolm Brown, Byron Murphy, two of the hardest playing dudes you will see. Wyoming going back to the ground attack. That is Harrison Whaley. Solid pickup on first down. How does Wyoming now respond to adversity?
I think they go back to what got them here. Being able to use the inside zone, they did it there, but they did it from the I formation. Texas hasn't seen that quite often. It's a different angle in the front that they got to attack, with the back being in the I.
For the record, Byron Murphy hitting the first couple of snaps off. He'll be out there shortly, though, as that is a first down conversion by Harrison Whaley. Also, nice part about Texas defensive line. We talked about the depth on the O-line. They've got that similar type of depth on the defensive line, and they're big dudes as well, Fozzie.
Absolutely. I think T'Vondre Sweat may be a little jealous Byron Murphy was able to get that touchdown, right? Maybe he goes up to Sark and Coach Flood and say, put me in a package.
Hey, he's back. He's back. He's
there
ready.
He is.
Yeah, this could cause more conflict than good in the defensive line room. Hey, Bo Davis, did you have a hand in this? DQ James checking in at tailback. Evan Svoboda doing his thing at quarterback. The undersized James hit hard and hit quickly. And that is Jeb Bush making plays.
Yeah, Byron Murphy in on that tackle as well. Penetration is what stops outside and inside zone, and those guys were able to get it on that play, hold it to a minimal 1-yard gain on that run.
Hey, when I first saw Jeb Bush play a few years ago, wasn't sure how long he would actually stay around as Texas developed more and more talent. He is still the test of time. He is in this rotation for the Longhorns defense. 2nd and 9. Svoboda throwing on the run and complete to Wyatt Wheeland. 6-year man out of the state of Colorado.
Again, utilizing the play action outside zone scheme, gets Svoboda out of the pocket, away from those dangerous pass rushers, finds Wheeland on the sideline to convert for a huge first down for Wyoming on this drive.
Wheeland is the sure-handed receiver. Ayer Asante in 5. That's the deep threat. Remember, Wyoming has lost their top 2 receivers in back-to-back years in the transfer portal. The first of those being Isaiah Nayor, right here at the University of Texas. Swoboda takes a hit. He's still up, but the second man will get him. That's a physical Ryan Watts. Initial contact made by Jaron Thompson.
Yeah, there's the wrinkle right there, a little zone read. Wyoming wants to get the quarterbacks involved in the play, at least with Andrew Peasley, and we're seeing it now with Svoboda, as big as he is, the physical run to be able to break tackles, even with head-on collisions.
Swoboda, surprise starter, making his first career start at Wyoming. We thought it would be Andrew Peasley all week long as he started the first 2 games. But Wyoming keeping that one under wraps. A little surprise here on game day. Swoboda with the screen, and it's almost picked off. Where is the ball?
It was knocked down right at the line of scrimmage. Screenplay, they're trying to get these aggressive rushers to be able to get past the running back, get past all the linemen. Hey, look at me, I'm right here, but Vernon Broughton does a great job being able to put his hands up, possibly eliminating a big play for Wyoming.
Almost had one of those Alfred Collins interceptions at the line of scrimmage like we saw in the Alamo Bowl a couple years ago. 3rd and 8, it's loud. Swoboda being chased, staying up. Jalen Ford will not get him. But he's forced out of bounds, and that will set up a 4th down. Vernon Broughton was hasted. That sack.
Right there, he provided a great move. They run a stunt. Vernon Broughton 101, and he finds a way to get the pressure onto Svoboda, and then obviously flushes him out of the pocket for a loss of 3 yards right there.
So this momentum turned around. Texas offense converting those 4th downs by Murphy, providing some juice on offense and then bringing it to defense as well. And Wyoming will have to punt it away. The pressure comes. Keelan Robinson almost got another. Worthy will make the return. Going back to the 10, trying to get to the sideline. He gets up to about the 17. So Texas has reclaimed the lead, and will try to add to it when we return as Longhorns 10-7 over Wyoming.
This is football on Longhorn Network, presented by your South Texas Ford dealers. Is brought to you by Yeti, built for the wild.
We got a Fozzie Whitaker signing. 2010, the last time the Longhorns were in the top 5. Fozzie, do you remember your line from that game?
Don't remember my line, but I scored, so I felt really, really good about the outcome of what that was.
7 carries, 62 yards. That's efficient right there, my man.
I'll take it.
Your guys won it 34-7. You're still a young whippersnapper. You could go out there and dominate. Quinn Ewers starting to pick it up, started slow, 1 of 6. Since then, perfect 6 of 6. Texas still not stretching the ball down the field. Not sure if the looks are there, what's going on. And you can ask that same question as goes off the hands of the talented freshman Jonte Cook.
That's something that has plagued this Texas team already in the first 3 weeks of play. Drops and just not being on the same page. If they can find a way to eliminate the drops, they have more explosive plays that they can give this Texas team.
And it's the shorter passes, like right in that same spot. You're talking, Worthy's got one, Brooks has one, Cook has one. But this is a talented receiving corps. And another one, Jordan Whittington. How do you explain that, Fozzie?
Lowell, I think one of the things that's the timing. For whatever reason, they can't get the timing right. We've seen it already on the downfield passing plays, and then it seems as though the expectation of the ball getting to them at that time is not what they wanted. So it's creating some deficiencies where they are right now.
Texas 0 for 4 on 3rd down. They've had to rely on Savion Red and those 4th down conversions from the Wildcat. Good time. JT Sanders almost made that Denton guy a one-handed catch. No flag. You can tell the Texas fans wanted one.
Yeah, it looked like a little contact there, but one thing about Easton Gibbs, he is a very good and a proficient runner. They talk a lot about how well he can run sideline to sideline. Got a little handsy there, and almost a great catch by Jatavian Sanders, but they just can't connect on that one.
Think there should have been a flag?
I do believe there was a flag there.
Sanborn punts it away. Caleb Cooley back inside his 30. Well, there was some pressure there, but he still makes a catch. Texas defense back to work. Wyoming, an opening possession touchdown, but nothing since then. This season, All-State will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund for every field goal and extra point made by Texas. Thank you, All-State. Bert Auburn has already contributed to that, off to a solid start to the season. Wyoming also has one of the best long-distance kickers in America, in John Hoyland. So it was a quick Texas drive, gives way to Wyoming. Wyoming with DQ James in at running back. Have not scored since the opening drive. James stood up by Devondre Sweat. And the rest of the Texas defense is what you will commonly hear Sark refer to as populating the football.
Absolutely. Obviously, Devondre Sweat, he's able to penetrate in a major way, which disrupted that run play. But you saw the speed that DQ James has and the ability to be able to make that spin move and not make a bad play worse right there. 2nd and 7 for Wyoming coming up.
Harrison Whaley had that 62-yard touchdown on the opening drive, but Texas defense has bowed up since. That's Wheeland in motion. We'll see that look a lot. Back to James as Broughton is blocked out of the play. Stop is made by David Binda and Jalen Ford. Very good linebacking duo. We knew we were going to get that from Ford for this Texas team. Binda is impressed.
Absolutely. How about him last week getting cut while still trying to chase after the sacker? Gets up really fast, creates a sack for that Texas defense against Alabama and Jalen Milroe. Then he makes a big stop right there to force 3rd and 5 for this Wyoming offense.
Cowboys 2 for 5 on 3rd down. Empty for Evans Swoboda. Swoboda complete. Jahdae Barron is there. Devin Body is brought down short that 1st down marker.
That's the film study of what Jahdae Barron brings to the table. He is a field general, and he's able to read. He knows about the quick outs, and he jumps on it quickly for a minimal gain for that Wyoming offense.
Do most dudes get that excited to watch film like Barron?
No, it is very rare to find somebody love watching film the way that Jahdae Barron does.
Here's Clayton Stewart to punt it away. Texas State transfer. It's a high one. And that is going to take a Wyoming bounce all the way from about the 30 to the 16-yard line. Quinn Ewers will try to get it going. 7 for 15. Try to pick it up when we return from DKR in Austin.
Alex Loeb, B-Rob, Griff here with you. Join us at halftime for in-depth highlights from the first half. Griff, what caught your eye?
We dive
Oh,
more
no,
into that.
not a good sign. Stay with us also. Big 12 upsets on the way as well. Lowell, Foxy?
Was Griff speechless right there?
Oh,
Is
yes.
that what we just heard? I thought he'd be so pumped about Savion Red, his guy that he wants to see more in the mix. That's a big reason why Texas has the 10-7 lead, because of those 4th down conversions. On the touchdown drive, it was capped with Byron Murphy. And Texas now going to the ground with Jonathan Brooks. Under 5 minutes to go here in the first half. Alex brought up a great point, though. This has really been a Saturday of sluggish starts and upsets. So this is one of those games, style points don't mean anything. Just find a way to get a dub against a solid and tough team. Ewers, the floating touch, and it's overthrown from Xavier Worthy. It's just really interesting how you can go from the highs and lows. Looking shaky one week against Rice, looking like a 1st overall pick against Alabama, and then coming back down to earth in this game.
Yeah, I think that's been the problem of Texas over the years, is not being able to show the consistency week in and week out, and that's starting to come up a little bit in this game as they can't find their rhythm offensively, and it's been a consistent theme today so far.
Trying to avoid a 3 and out. They're 0 for 5 on 3rd down. 3 receivers, bottom of the formation, and you can add Brooks down there. Ewers, clean pocket, Worthy going backwards, and is brought down. A fine tackle made by Ja'Cory Hawkins, senior DB from Montgomery, Alabama, transfer from Ole Miss. That's a 3 and out, Fozzie.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. You're looking here, offensive line provides a great pocket in time for Quinn to make a good pass. Thrown short of the sticks, trying to make a guy miss, but unfortunately they can't do that, and Texas punt team is back out there again.
Sanborn had a 50-yarder the last time he booted it. It's away again. Caleb Cooley backing up from the 20. Burns past Robinson. Cooley is still up and is brought down at about the 30-yard line. Do you believe in teams playing up and playing down the competition?
Absolutely. I think we got to see a little bit of that against Rice, and then we got to see it against Alabama whenever this team turned it on. And now they seem as though they're sleepwalking a bit through this first half, where the offense cannot find a way to get the guy going. And Quinn Ewers is struggling right now. What do you do to be able to help that? Who knows? But they got to figure it out quickly at halftime and make those adjustments.
Wyoming has said they struggle with that as well. They got up for Texas Tech, got that win despite trailing 17-0, and then looked a little sluggish last week against Portland State, an FCS opponent. 341 for Evans Swoboda. Wyatt Wheeland on the ground. So many different looks to give him. He's upended as Jahdae Barron continues an active evening for the Texas secondary.
Absolutely. That's one of those plays right there. Get a little misdirection happening where you got to read, quarterback can be able to keep it, or he hands it off on the jet sweep type of look. Wyatt Wheeland was that guy that was taking it around the edge, and they pick up a gain of 5 right there on first down.
When you look at Wyoming on tape, the superlatives, They don't have a lot of dudes, guys that are going to be high round picks in the NFL. We've got some of those guys that will project as late round picks, but it is just solid football all around. Baron Sorrell making the tackle against Harrison Whaley right at the line.
That's what you want to see by this Texas defensive line. We know Wyoming, they want to establish the run. Can Texas find a way to make those adjustments and then start getting TFLs after controlling the line of scrimmage? And Baron Sorrell did just that on that play.
Still no sacks for the Texas defense. They have seven of them in the first 2 games. 3rd and 5. No snap. Swoboda, the rifle to Wheeland. That's good enough for the first down.
Again, the 5-yard out, that's where they make their living right there. Get it into 3rd and short, get it into 3rd and manageable, and find your mismatch and then get it out quickly. Don't even allow that Texas rush to become a factor as they convert another first down to be able to keep the sticks moving for this Wyoming offense.
You don't see a lot of throwing motions these days like Evan Swoboda. Coming right over the top. But he does get some RPM on the football. Under 2 minutes left here in the first half. DQ James. Met by the Texas defensive line. Ethan Burke, the wild man there to make the stop.
One thing that's impressed me by this Wyoming offense, we heard from Coach Posak talk about what they wanted to do is control the game and establish it, and they knew it would be a tall task against this Texas defensive line, but they've done exactly what they wanted to do. Come in, control the line of scrimmage, be able to establish the run, and then set off play action off of it.
With the way they're playing this possession, one time out, looks like they just don't want Texas to see the football, regardless if they score or not. Swoboda to the tight end, Trayton Welch. Last season, Welch was a first-team selection by Pro Football Focus out of the Mountain West. Tight ends, Welch, Gillenborg, they are factors on 3rd down. It's a Wyoming offense coming into the season that has really struggled through the air. Swoboda, his first career start, a surprise one. 9 of 15 for 59 yards for that man, Craig Bull.
They're going to need some yards here. Do they feel comfortable pushing it downfield a little bit more to try to get in a scoring range for a field goal?
Swoboda over the middle to the tight end, and Welch is brought down shy of the first down. Jahdae Barron, surprise, surprise.
Yeah, they try to set up a little tight end screen right there. It was a really cool play. The design was really cool. Now you got to be careful, though. They try to use that aggressive nature against them, but Jahdae Barron finds a way to make a play again and force this Wyoming offense to make a decision. Do they go for it, or do they punt away to Texas with 20 seconds left on the clock?
And they're going to let the clock wind down, and even with 2 timeouts, it looks like Texas is content to let that clock get as close to 0 as possible. Now Bull wants the timeout with 7 seconds left. Surprised that Texas didn't elect to call the timeout, try to get the football back with more time to work with.
I am surprised. I mean, you get an opportunity to go one more time and put up points against this Wyoming team. They're struggling right now. Find a way to be able to create on offense. Find a way to get an explosive play. Maybe Xavier Worthy is that joke that they punt it and then he takes it back and gets them in scoring position. Bert Auburn kicks a field goal. Who knows? But no reason to save your timeout. You can't take them with you in the next quarter.
Well, you mentioned Xavier Worthy. We talked about him so much coming off the win against Alabama because Texas finally was so successful with the downfield shots. They're either not open tonight or they're not looking for them.
It's strange right now, man. Something is not clicking with this offense.
So no one deep for Texas. The deepest man is Jalen Catalon at the 40. Trying to make sure nothing tricky happens here. And it's going to be a straight punt. And that punt will come to a rest at the 10-yard line. And that will take us to the half. Fozzie, 10-7, Texas with the lead. We were looking for them, as was Steve Sarkisian, firing all cylinders in the first half of this game. They did it.
Yeah, they haven't been their usual self of what we saw them do against Alabama. They got to find a way, make those adjustments at halftime. That's something that Coach Flood talked about yesterday is against Rice. They didn't make the adjustments fast enough, but out of half, they found a way to get it clicking and scored 3 straight times. Can they do that again tonight?
So everything about the first half is a surprise. The score, 10-7. The quarterback, Evan Svoboda, Harrison Whaley for Wyoming, making his debut with the 62-yard touchdown run. And even the man getting Texas into the end zone, Byron Murphy, consider that a surprise as well. Welcome back to DKR. You are watching Wyoming and Texas, presented by South Texas Ford Dealers. At the half, this is a surprise. Texas into the top 5 of the AP Top 25 and started slow against Wyoming. It's a 10-7 lead for the Longhorns over the Cowboys. This is the type of low-scoring game that Wyoming wanted to have coming in through Austin, as they are looking for their second upset against a Big 12 team this season. They opened up the year with a win in Laramie against Texas Tech. Texas to return and start with the ball. Keelan Robinson hit north of the 30. Bo Galindo here with Fozzie Whitaker. It's a really curious offensive start for Texas. No turnovers, no sacks allowed, just 1 tackle for loss. They're just not firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, right now they can't get converted on 3rd downs. Whether that's because of mishaps with throwing the ball, the receivers not coming down with it, overthrows, whatever the case may be, this Texas offense does not look like they are in sync right now. So they got to figure that out. Hopefully they made adjustments at halftime.
Quinn Ewers, 8-17, and Texas has yet to convert on a 3rd down. 2 key 4th down conversions, setting up the Byron Murphy touchdown. That is Jonathan Brooks, and he is corralled by Tyrekus Davis. Far cry from the offense that we saw in Tuscaloosa against the Alabama Crimson Tide's vaunted defense against Alabama. 454 yards, 34 points. First half tonight, 120-10. Back to Brooks. And Brooks with some tough sledding. Dirty run that will set up a 3rd and 2. Braden Siders is here for the stop. Shea Suianoa, one of the top linebackers for this Wyoming defense. This is the strength of the team. Wyoming defense, stout, especially at the defensive tackle position. Ewers throwing on the run, complete to Jordan Whittington. That's the ball that both Ewers and Jaywood needed to see fall.
Yeah, that's huge. What Texas was averaging on 3rd down coming into that drive was 7.7 yards. Now they get it into 3rd and short, and they have the open playbook. Steve Sarkisian calls the flood route, gets Jay Witt right behind Xavier Worthy for that 1st down.
14 yards. Texas has yet to have a play of more than 20. And that is going to draw a flag.
Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's a false start on Hayden Connor. Let's bring in Morgan Uber, because, Morgan, we saw Cole Hudson go to the locker room in the first half.
And more bad news for this Texas offense, guys. Right guard Cole Hudson went down with a left lower body injury in that first quarter. He was carted off the field. He just came back out a few minutes before the start of the 3rd quarter, and he's out with a left knee injury, out here on crutches. All of his teammates coming up to him, patting him on the back, and he's trying to keep some positive spirits, but obviously looks really defeated and deflated.
Absolutely hate to see that. You feel for Cole Hudson, sophomore right guard. DJ Campbell now will get most of the snaps there. They do have young depth along this offensive line. Kyle Flood, Steve Sarkisian have done a tremendous job recruiting not just frontline players, but a lot of guys that provide youthful depth that one day will be stars. Campbell is close to doing that. That's Christian Jones. He's the elder statesman on the offensive line, his 6th year now holding down the right tackle spot. Here's a 3rd and 9 inside the 50 of the Texas offense. Another clean pocket for Ewers, and this is open for A.D. Mitchell. He's hit hard by Isaac White, but Mitchell still moving the chains.
What a great way. Remember, we talked about keeping Quinn clean in the pocket. Offensive line, along with Jonathan Brooks, keeps it clean and pretty. Quinn steps up, delivers a great pass.
16 yards to Jaden Blue on the ground. And nothing happening there. 1-yard gain for Jaden Blue. And that is Big Cole Goodboe from Hudson, Wisconsin. Tied his career highs last week with 2.5 tackles for loss, a sack and a half, and a win against Portland State. That is one of the defensive tackles that the Wyoming staff says is better than a few of the teams have in the Big 12. Ewers pump fakes. Gunner Helm, it's broken up. Helm is looking for his 2nd catch. And that is White Eckler. It's another nice play for the Wyoming secondary.
Yeah, get down in the red zone, trying to take a shot there, faking the screen to Jaden Blue down below, trying to hit it right over the head. Double coverage, it just wasn't there. Another missed opportunity right there. It would have been a great play if Gunnar Helm could have came down with that catch, though.
Secondary for the Cowboys has stepped up. That was supposed to be the weak link of this Wyoming defense. They are razor thin, but the guys in there holding their own. 3rd and 9. Ewers pressured and brought down. Sebastian Harsh, the former walk-on, with the 1st sack of the night for the Wyoming defense.
Yeah, this is one. They just not in sync right here. We saw a little bit of this happen with Rice, where they gave up 3 sacks, not necessarily from a physical, getting beat physically, but rather because of not being on the same page. And that really puts this Texas offense in a bad position because it pushes them out of field goal range.
Did not allow a sack last week against Alabama. Allowed 3 of them in the opener against Rice. Sanborn with the punt. Was a touch in the end zone, though. Nope, I'm going to down it at the 4-yard line. Missed opportunity for Texas. They cannot convert on 3rd down. Cowboys trying to get some offense going. They have not scored since their first possession.
Harrison Whaley is having himself a night. Starting off with this big run, 62-yarder to break open the Wyoming scoring for this Cowboy team. Harrison Whaley right now, 9 carries, 93 yards, averaging 10 a pop with that touchdown. This is the reason why Wyoming has been able to control the line of scrimmage, been able to convert on 3rd downs, and putting themselves in position to have success against this Texas defense.
Missed the first 2 games for Wyoming after offseason knee surgery. Transferred from Northern Illinois, where he had a 100-yard rushing game against Wyoming. He's now 7 yards away from doing that against Texas, but the Cowboys are backed up. That will help solve that problem very quickly. Right on cue, Whaley with a good first play.
Again, the inside zone, this is where they've had tremendous success. Being able to get the backers to flow over top, push the line of scrimmage, allow Harrison Whaley to do what he does best, and that's hit it vertical, and he's doing just that.
Such a different look from the other running backs in the Cowboys' backfield. 2nd and 4. Evan Swoboda making his first career start. No Andrew Peasley, we still do not know why. That is Whaley hit the 1st down. So back-to-back carries to start off the first drive of the 2nd half of the Cowboys. And that means Whaley is now hit that century mark. The Cowboys have a 1st down.
They're lining up in a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, which Texas hasn't seen a lot of coming into this season. Wyoming is testing them on their personnel and depth right now.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But this time the Texas defense is there. Jalen Ford makes a stop. Talked to their offensive coordinator, Tim Polasic. He said, I really don't know what this term means anymore, but we are dubbed a pro-style offense. What do you think he's talking about?
Man, it's all merged together, but you see the utilization of the tight ends. You see the quarterback under center as well, the single back in the backfield. And they're utilizing a lot of that inside and outside zone scheme in their run game. And I think that's where they're finding success tonight against Texas.
Longhorns took so much pride in stopping the run last season. They've done that through the first 2 games of the year. Not having success tonight. Swoboda to an open man out of the backfield. It's Devin Bonnie. With a little exchange there with Jared Thompson out of the plate. As the receiver, Devin Bonnie with the first down. Anything through the air is a bonus for Wyoming.
Absolutely, and they go right back to the speed out, man. That's where their bread and butter is made. Get the balls out of the quarterback hands quickly. Allow your playmakers to work in space, but don't allow that Texas defensive line to put pressure on the quarterback.
Longest pass of the night for Wyoming, 19 yards. Alex Brown in motion. Going back to Harrison Whaley. Whaley met quickly and with authority. Jalen Catalon coming up to make that stop as Trill Carter, a transfer, initially had the first hit. Carter transfer from Minnesota.
If you're talking about stopping the run, that's what you got to do, being able to hold the line of scrimmage while getting penetration. Trill Carter showed the reason why he came in on that play and had success.
Swoboda on a rope to Wyatt Whelan. That's been his go-to guy. And Whelan comes up with catch number 5.
Sound like a broken record, Lowell, but again, they hit the speed out closest to the sideline. That is what they like to do. Eventually, I bet you're going to see some of these guys get a little aggressive, take that speed out away, see what Evan Swoboda does if he has to hold on to it a little bit longer.
Texas needs to get some pressure here on 3rd and 4. No sacks and tackles for loss for the Texas D. All sorts of time for Swoboda. Downfield, and the catch on the sideline is hauled in by Yair Asante. Asante coming up clutch with his 2nd catch of the night.
Yeah, this is where Texas, you need to find a way to create pressure right there. Wyoming's offensive line does a great job handling the 3-man rush and the stunts. Finds his man, Asante, getting back behind the receiver, or getting back behind the cornerbacks. Big first down for Wyoming's offense.
This is a tough and nasty Wyoming offensive line. Their left tackle, 75, Frank Crum, could be a late-round draft pick. On the ground, DQ James will pick up 2 yards. Justice Finkley, David Benda there for the stop. And looks like Christopher Ross is down, the redshirt freshman from Houston North Shore.
Yeah, it looks like he took a bad little tumble as he was falling, trying to make a play on DQ James.
Christopher Ross is down, being checked out by Steve Sarkisian and the Texas medical staff. We'll see him rolling at the bottom of the screen. Looks like he's holding his arm. Get an update if we can when we return to DKR.
Football on Longhorn Network, presented by your South Texas Ford dealers, is brought to you by Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa, where you can stay part of the game, and in part by Whataburger. Stop on by Whataburger and try the patty melt today. It's an all-time favorite for a reason.
Fred Akers, he was a wonderful man. Came back to the University of Texas to follow Darrell Royal after 2 seasons as a head coach. The Wyoming Cowboys took them to the Fiesta Bowl in his final year, and Laramie before returning to the 40 acres. So Christopher Ross was just carted off. We'll get an update when we can. And a hit close to the line of scrimmage made by Ryan Watts.
Here's another critical third down, right in that pivotal fringe range, where if they don't make this, do they go for it and try to convert, or do they kick a short punt? I don't know, but it's critical right now in the stage of game for this Texas defense to get a stop.
They have one of the biggest legs in college football. John Hoyland has 56 yarders in back-to-back games. 3rd and 6. Low snap again to Swoboda. And that is overthrown. And a late flag. A late flag near the sideline. Terrence Brook was in coverage.
If they're trying to call pass interference, that was uncatchable.
Way out of bounds.
Defense number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow. So let's see. This is on the sophomore, Terrence Brooks. Oh, that ball is 4 yards, 5 yards over the head of Ryan Marquez.
Not even close. Wow.
See if the Texas bows up as Wyoming is into the red zone. First red zone trip of the night for the Cowboys. Wheeland with the carry. Wheeland will be hit and dropped by Terrence Brooks.
Ran that play earlier, remember, giving the quarterback the option to be able to keep it up or be able to hit Wheeland on the outside with the little jet sweep option. So good positive run for them on first down.
DQ James, the tailback. Play action. Swoboda looking back to James, going end zone and overthrown. He had Drayton Welch for the touchdown. Jalen Catalon closed, and it will set up a 3rd and 8.
That was a nice play by Jaden Catalon, staying over top, not getting persuaded by the initial movement in the eyes of the quarterback, playing his zone and then being able to force a contested catch right at the end zone. Great play, good stop.
Transfer from Arkansas has made such a big impact. As much of an impact with his leadership, tenacity, a guy that's battled so many injuries, as well as the on-field production. 3rd and 8. Play clock winding down. Wyoming gets his snap off to Wheeland. Wheeland is brought down. It's going to be close to the marker. Malik Muhammad made the stop. It looks like it's going to be a foot short.
Just shy.
Decision time. Wyoming wants to go quick. They got the 6'5" quarterback, Kevin Swoboda.
False start.
It looked like movement on the right side of the line. So, we're on a review here. You imagine the review is over the spot.
The placement of the 3rd down catch made by Wyatt Wheeland. I believe they're going on a review to see if it was far enough to get them the 1st down, or if the Cowboys will have 4th down.
Well, Wyoming may have been bailed out because they rushed to the line and it looked like the entire right side moved early.
The line to gain is the 9-yard line.
So
very close.
Elbow is down. Don't have a definitive look at the ball at that angle.
Elbow is down there.
It's obviously cleared the 10, but it still looks short of the 9.
Remember, they need clear and concise evidence to be able to overturn this.
The ruling on the field stands. It'll be 4th down.
Will Craig Bowl decide to go for it here, or send out his preseason All-Mountain West Conference kicker, John Hoyland? So with Wyoming playing this game without Andrew Peasley, starting quarterback, guided Wyoming to a win in the opener against Texas Tech. Had his best game of his Wyoming career last week against Portland State. Evan Swoboda, all 6'5", 245 pounds of him, got the surprise start, and will try to convert here. Fourth and 1.
Some of the Wyoming linemen were actually hyping the crowd up.
Swoboda will keep. He's got the first down. They went heavy. They had the big fellas behind Evan Swoboda, help force him forward, and they moved the chains.
That's an attitude play right there. We talked earlier about Coach Bowl mentioning that cowboy tough mentality. That was a 4th down that they needed. They went and got it the cowboy tough way.
It's a team full of 3-star, 2-star players. Some where the only option was to come to Wyoming. They have been developed into a tough out. Swoboda, all sorts of time. Here's Sorrell tracking him down. Swoboda trying to get the edge. And he's forced out at about the 10-yard line. They're going to give him extra yards. Sorrell was doing everything he possibly could to track him down.
Stays flat, flushes him out of the pocket. How about this referee being cowboy tough? He pops right up. He's ready to go again. No misplays by him.
Been there, done that, he says. Strap now, over 8 minutes, 14 plays. And we got a timeout. So the score is obviously a surprise. Well, Steve Sarkisian walked into our studios on Monday for our Rewind show, quickly talked about Wyoming. He just said those guys are really tough. And it wasn't coach speak. We weren't even on the air. Those guys are really tough. He was serious when he meant it.
What really stands out about this Wyoming team is the level of maturity that they play at. They have older guys on the roster at all of the key positions that you need to have veteran leadership with. And that is what creates that toughness and that cowboy tough mentality that Coach Bowl has instilled into them. That's where they find a way, no matter what the odds are. And we see it against Texas Tech. They go down 17-0, find a way to get momentum, keep pushing in that game, win it out in Laramie. And even though Portland State win was ugly, they found a way to pull it off because of the maturity and the leadership that they have.
Think about what this would mean for Craig Bowl. He was coaching linebackers in the 1996 Big 12 title game. He witnessed James Brown roll left. He was there in 1998 when Wayne McGarry had the game-winning score to end Nebraska's 47-game home-winning streak. In 2002, his final year as the defensive coordinator in Nebraska, and Texas went to Lincoln again to stop a 26-game home-winning streak. Craig Bowl was there for it all. Can't quite verbalize what he really thinks about Texas. He's got respect, but you know,
Absolutely.
He would love nothing more than to return the favor.
Absolutely, especially after the week that Texas has had, all of the positive talk going around where this Texas team can be in the infamous "Is Texas back?"
Don't
question.
say it, Fozzie.
Right? That's what's been circling around the atmosphere across the nation. Well, Craig Bowl says I have something to say about that, and his Wyoming team is showing a big reason why they should never be overlooked.
Evan Swoboda, though, has stolen the show. Andrew Peasley in no-go, still not sure why. Swoboda has looked the part.
Absolutely. This guy has been extremely efficient. He hasn't been asked to really throw it downfield, but he's been extremely accurate whenever he has done it. Whenever you see him making those quick, efficient passes, the quick outs, that's where they live their life by right now. And whenever the play's broken down, he's been able to extend it with his legs. I think he's done a phenomenal job controlling this game and allowing this offense to keep doing what they're doing, controlling the line of scrimmage and playing very efficiently.
And he is, by the numbers, keeping up, if not outplaying Swoboda. He's outplaying Ewers. But this is where you have to cash in. If you want to pull off a miracle, you got to make it happen in the red zone. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Swoboda switching things up. Still plenty of time on the play clock. They go to Harrison Whaley. Whaley met by the entire Texas defense. Alfred Collins and company there for the stop. Ethan Burke in on the tackle as well.
Yeah, just watch this push they all get. You got a stunt, you got two guys free in the backfield, and then Alfred Collins being able to stuff it whenever it reaches him. That's the type of intensity that this Texas D-line has to display to get this goal line stand here.
Second tackle for loss for the Texas defense tonight. This is one of those games now, it doesn't matter how pretty it is, just win. Third and goal. Play clock was at 0, no flag. Sorrell brings him down. Baron Sorrell, when the Texas defense desperately needed a play, Sorrell delivers.
What a phenomenal sack. One-on-one opportunity for Baron Sorrell coming off the edge. Hey, you're going to put 2-3 people on me. It doesn't matter. I'm going to roll right by them, and I'm going to give my Texas team an opportunity to create some momentum and force a field goal attempt here by Wyoming.
John Hoyland comes on, 3 for 3 on the season. This should be nothing for him at 46 yards. He's the master of 50+. The kick is up, and it is good. So with 20 seconds left to go here in the third quarter, Wyoming has tied it up with Texas.
Now, that was a long drive. The key thing about that was it took so much time off of the clock. You look at it, Wyoming had the ball for 10 minutes, 17 plays, 77 yards that drive, and they didn't come up empty-handed. They were able to find a way to put points on the board and tie this game up. So huge win for Wyoming on that drive, playing keep away and adding points for them to stay in the game.
But if you look, the fact that it was first and goal, Texas may be saying that's a huge win for us defensively.
Absolutely.
And that Baron Sorrell sack, that's the biggest play the Texas defense has made tonight.
Absolutely. You want to see more of that if you're a Texas fan. Be able to create and control the line of scrimmage, put Wyoming in third and long situations and allow them to pin their ears back. We'll see if they can do more of that in the fourth quarter coming up.
A 10-minute, 22-second field goal drive. So we know what's on order for the Texas offense. They got to move the ball, take some time off the clock, and let this Texas defense just recover. Kick is away. Keelan Robinson takes it with a footstep of the goal line. Gets a block from Jordan Whittington, and it's out to the 25-yard line. So Quinn Ewers, 10 of 20 for 87 yards. He's got one touchdown to Byron Murphy. He is really embracing his role as a leader, trying to get his guys going. But part of this, between the lines, they need more from Ewers as well.
Absolutely. The accuracy just hasn't been there on a consistent basis. We'll see if he can find it right at the end of this quarter going into the fourth quarter whenever the game is on the line.
So no C.J. Baxter tonight. Brooks with a nice run. Still up to the 40-yard line. It takes 4 Cowboys to bring Jonathan Brooks down. And Jake Majors was running with them the whole way. 3 quarters of football complete here in Austin, Texas. A pivotal 4th to come. Wyoming 10, Texas 10. 4th quarter when we return. The debut of the drone and light show going into the 4th quarter inside DKR. We've seen the drones make the tower. We've seen Bevo. We've seen the hook 'em hand sign. There it is. Pretty impressive debut here in Austin, Texas. Moments ago, though, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Ford, the ultimate leaders on this Texas team, got the team together trying to figure out something, a way to get this team started. Moments ago, Morgan Uber caught up with Steve Sarkisian.
Yes, my Lord.
Coach, you told me before the game you expected this team to face adversity. What response do you need to see from your offense here in this 4th quarter?
Well, now we're just going to come down to executing here in the 4th quarter in all 3 phases. And that's a good start right there, running the football. We got to be able to stop the run defensively on 1st down so we can get off the field on defense. And then we got to extend drives on offense. So we had a good first drive. That was just a really short quarter.
A motivated Jonathan Brooks, back-to-back, solid carries, quick toss to Xavier Worthy. Worthy is still up! The Burners, the sideline! He's tough! He's fast! He's Xavier Worthy! House call!
If you need your playmaker to make a play, he steps up in a big way, makes one guy miss, and then uses that speed and takes it all the way to the crib for 49 yards.
That is how you turn it around at the drop of a hat. One of the most complete playmakers in all of college football.
Absolutely amazing, extremely explosive. Doesn't matter who you are not catching Xavier Worthy. You can say bye-bye to that one.
Hey, I like the light show. I like the drones. But give me Xavier Worthy streaking down that sideline all night. And a flag on the extra point. Wow.
Talked about team speed, and Xavier Worthy mentioned Jaden Blue as one of the fastest, but he never said anyone was faster than him. And it showed on that play right there.
When it's the truth, it's the truth.
Disconcerting signals on the defense. The defense clapped for the cadence. Half the distance to the goal. We're right away to try for the 1.5.
So Wyoming simulating the snap with the clapping of the hands. So that will move up this extra point attempt. Trying to make it a 7-point game. Worthy has some magic when he gets close to that sideline. The play he made against Alabama last week, coming out of the backfield, lowering the shoulder.
He knows what he's doing.
Woo. That man is an electric factory. You need a play to get you going. There's no question. That play is going to come from the man wearing number 1 on his chest and lead this Texas team. 17-10, Longhorns take the lead. Been there, done that for Xavier Worthy. Told us yesterday he grew up, in his words, quote, super small. So he always had to play the game with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, this is a numbers count. Quinn Ewers can either hand the ball off. Unless Wyoming has too many defenders, he can throw it out to his dynamic playmaker. That's what he did, and X made a play whenever they needed the most.
And this is the type of Saturday night the folks here inside Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium were anticipating. Fair catch. So Wyoming will take over at the 25. Let's check in with Morgan.
Guys, for much of that 3rd quarter, I was watching Xavier Worthy on these sidelines, pacing the sideline, came over and really even standing by himself. And one of the things coming into this season that he really mental game. Remember, he played 6 games last year with a broken hand last season and said it was hard coming back from that. One of the things he does now, he sits for 5 minutes pregame by himself, and he also isolates himself during the game and thinks of words or phrases. He told us the word that he uses a lot, your year. But guys, I wonder if he was thinking on that last time, touchdown.
Whatever he was thinking, Morgan, it certainly worked. Wyoming running into a brick wall in the form of T'Vondre Sweat.
Here's where depth plays a factor. Whenever other guys are getting tired, it seems like Texas's rotation on the defensive side of the ball allows them to become stronger. And you see it on that play right there with T'Vondre Sweat in the big TFL on first down.
He asked Pete Kwiatkowski about the leaders on defense. He said, well, it has to start with T'Vondre Sweat. He's so big, you can't miss him. Wyatt Wieland, wide open. Now, Xavier Worthy has also been toughened up from his time on the 40 acres.
Absolutely.
Because constantly, you've been to the practices. You know it's nonstop trash talk from Michael Huff and Vince Young. Over and over and over. We even asked him, so what do you say back? He said, it's BY. What can I say back? He's putting together a type of career where he's going to have some room to talk.
Absolutely. He's putting up some phenomenal numbers. We'll see that consistently happen over the course of the season.
3rd and 3. Harrison Whaley, the running back. Svoboda to throw. It's short of the sticks. Barron up ends. Wheeland. That is the most active dude on the Texas defense tonight.
What a huge hit right there. Again, a numbers game. Svoboda could have handed it off. He sees that he likes the numbers on the outside. But number 23 says, you didn't see me making that play right there, as he forces the big hit on Wyatt Wheeler.
He's trying to make a statement. He feels like he should be in the race for the Jim Thorpe. 4th and 3, Wyoming to punt it away. Worthy is back deep. No pressure from Texas.
Got a good return set up here.
The moves. Trying to shake free of a leg tackle, up and over. Some dexterity by Xavier Worthy. He sent this stadium into a frenzy. Quinn Ewers will try to keep it rolling and add to it. Texas up by a touch.
Texas football on Longhorn Network is presented by your South Texas Ford dealers, proud truck provider for Bevo, and in part by Yeti, built for the wild, and Bud Light, it's for the fans.
Texas Athletics Hall of Honor is the most prestigious recognition awarded by the Texas Athletics Department, and there are the 11 inductees in the class of 2023. In the middle, it's Quan Cosby hamming it up, and of course you got to have a big fella protecting you on the outside. Jonathan Scott, the man for the job. So congratulations to all the inductees into the Texas Athletics Hall of Honor. Last time out, Xavier Worthy electrified the place. A touchdown catch. Jonathan Brooks, though, has quietly been the setup man for this Texas offense.
Absolutely. Whenever this offense has had success, it hinged off of the success they've had running the ball. Jonathan Brooks right at the forefront.
Do expect to see C.J. Baxter, true freshman from Florida, back in action next week for the Big 12 opener against the Baylor Bears. Had a sprain on the top of his foot. Went through that in the win against Alabama. Steve Sarkisian told us coming into this game he would be surprised to see him. Maurice Blackwell also unable to go in this game. Key special teams standout linebacker should make his return next week against Baylor. We need to see the status going forward for Cole Hudson, who was knocked out of the game in the first half. 3rd and 1. Jonathan Brooks into the open field. One man. Do you have enough? Brooks, the stiff arm, still battling, combing the field inside the 10 to the 5.
What an explosive run right there to take them right over 100 yards rushing and then some. Established a run game. That's what Steve Sarkisian wanted to do. And I can say that rush went over 5 yards.
61 yards of relentless running from Jonathan Brooks. Will he get the payoff in the pay dirt? Brought down a couple of yards shy.
What a big hole right there. The offensive line able to give Jonathan Brooks some running room. Jonathan Brooks uses that stiff arm to be able to extend it, allow those two people to hit each other and put himself in position to try to hit pay dirt coming up.
Give it up to Easton Gibbs, though, for staying in on that play to prevent the touchdown after Brooks broke free from Tyrekus Davis and cut it back. 161 yards. That's not bad. Brooks tackled for a loss. And it's Sebastian Harsh with his second play behind the line. He's got a sack in the TFL.
And that's one right there. Wish you could have back. Jonathan Brooks almost stays up, but unfortunately can't keep his balance. Great play by Harsh, unblocked, being able to force that run into a loss for Jonathan Brooks in his offense.
How surprised are you that they don't have their featured back, Byron Murphy, in the game?
Very surprised. Feed the big man the ball.
He got his touch earlier in the game, the first touchdown for the Longhorns. Ewers now behind the block from Christian Jones. Pater, Quinn Ewers. The man that held the players-only meeting before practice on Tuesday, picking it up at the right time, 5 yards and in.
Absolutely, what a phenomenal run set up by Jonathan Brooks. The way that Jonathan Brooks ran the ball on that play allowed Quinn Ewers to be able to maintain on the read option and find his way into the end zone. Even take some contact, stay up, find his way there. Huge score, and then Quinn Ewers shows you some of that emotion at the end as to why this Texas team is to be reckoned with this year.
Yeah, it's his team. It shows a lot, though, how even with the early game struggles, that in some part were on his shoulders. He didn't back down. He didn't cower. He maintained that leadership role and was the vocal leader of this Texas offense.
Absolutely. We saw him and Jalen Ford bring the team up. They brought the energy. They said, this is going into the fourth quarter. We got to find a way to control it and finish it out. And what better way to follow that up with 2 touchdown drives, one by Xavier Worthy. This one spearheaded by Jonathan Brooks, but capped off with the Quinn Ewers touchdown run. This Texas team is looking good right now.
Wyoming was giving the Longhorns everything they could handle through 3 quarters. But late in the third, Jonathan Brooks started to get it really going and opening up some big runs. There is going to be a review to see if Quinn Ewers did get into the end zone.
Checking if that elbow hits the ground before the ball crosses the plane, and it looks actually closer than I originally imagined.
But as the football rolling into the end zone, it looks like, you can see it on the other side of that shot.
Important to note, the call on the field was a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Evidence to be able to overturn it, clear and concise. I don't know if that shows he was not in the end zone clearly before his elbow hit the ground.
So Brooks got it going. The electric Xavier Worthy got everybody back into this thing, and Quinn Ewers showing the toughness to get into the end zone, pending this review. That and the extra point, make it a 14-point game.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
This is such a great atmosphere inside this stadium. Credit multiple departments and people here at the University of Texas for reshaping the game day experience at a time where the program was going through a rough spot. When Steve Sarkisian came in, has recruited his tail off. has put so much focus on player development. These players are getting better. Ultimately, what the fans need is a winning product. As the extra point is up and good, that will get you into it. And then if you add something extra, like Chris Del Conte, Drew Martin, and his staff at the University of Texas have done with Bevo Boulevard, the redone south end zone, the new light show, and just the configuration of where the students and the band are sitting. And the students, give them so much credit for showing up and being loud. They were here early, and Steve Sarkisian made his walk around the field, went right up to them, and they were loving every minute of it. This is a completely different environment now.
Absolutely. I mean, the fans were here probably as early as 4 p.m., 3 hours before kick, getting hyped up. That's not the atmosphere that has been at DKR all the time, and so credit to everybody that put a hand in there. This atmosphere is absolutely rocking right now.
Morgan, what do you got?
Well, guys, on the sidelines for Texas, too, it's an entirely different environment than it's been this entire game. After that last touchdown, Quinn Ewers coming off the field, finally showing emotion, chest bumping with Adonai Mitchell saying, let's go, let's go. Finally getting his guys hyped up. He's been really calm and quiet this entire game until right now, guys.
Morgan, thank you so much. Fozzie, this strikes me as one of those games where great teams win ugly. I mean, you look at the 05 team. That had some games where they had to win ugly. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Texas A&M.
Yep.
And leading up to that, the fourth down conversion by Vince Young against the Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, on really good teams that led up to that. Strikes me as one of those games. This will benefit Texas if they can just find a way to hold on regardless of the final score. Svoboda looking for Wheelan. Brooks on the coverage. Broke that up.
So now be alert here. Wyoming is a little pressed for time. Little under 9 minutes left in the game. They haven't had to force the ball downfield as much because they've been able to control the time of possession. Now they have to open up the playbook a little bit. Be looking for these Texas defenders to be aggressive in trying to create a turnover, which they haven't gotten yet.
This is a Wyoming team that has struggled with turnovers. 4 of them coming into this game. 3 of them lost fumbles from the running back position, but Harrison Whaley has given them a completely different look. They're picked off! Give him 6! A pick 6! Jaron Thompson, back-to-back games with interceptions. That's a big one.
Just remember, I just said, the quick outs is what they like to do. They got to push it downfield. Be alert for the turnover. Jaron Thompson, he must have heard me. Maybe my microphone goes right into his helmet. He heard me, he picks it off, reads it. That's Jaron Thompson's second pick in 2 weeks straight. This one goes the distance. Phenomenal play, phenomenal read by him, being able to help this Texas defense get their first turnover on the night.
When you talk about a heady player, he could have gone in a different direction. He got burnt by Alabama to let the Crimson Tide back into the game last weekend. Came back with an interception on the very next play from scrimmage. Does it again here. 27-yard return. The DBs have said, we cannot let Jalen Ford and the linebackers have more interceptions than us.
Well, they're doing a good job right there. Jaron Thompson with 2. Jahdae Barron had 1 last week. They are putting it on right now against Wyoming.
Takeaways, the name of the game. Jaron Thompson hitting another one. 3 picks for the Texas DBs in the last 2 games. This one's special because it puts Thompson and the Longhorns in the end zone. 31-10. Not how you start, how you finish. These Texas Longhorns now ranked number 4 in the AP Top 25. Saving the best for the last 15 minutes of this game. Wyoming has been game. They've been up to the challenge. But Texas has outlasted them and flipped the momentum in the 4th quarter. Wheelan, the fear catch. Wyoming will take over at the 25. That brings us to our plays of the game presented by the official beer sponsor of the Texas Longhorns, Bud Light.
There's Quinn Ewers getting them hyped right now. This was a wake-up call. How are we going to find a way to make a play? Who's going to step up and find a way to make a play? He finds his big dynamic playmaker, Xavier Worthy, 49-yard reception right there. And then let's get this thing back started on the ground game where we found success. Jonathan Brooks takes it in, and then Jaron Thompson reads the pick, finds a way to intercept it and take it all the way to the house. Big plays to help change the outcome of this game.
Swarming Texas defense. Vernon Broughton with the stop. Second straight fourth quarter that the Longhorns have put up 21 points. Still got 8.5 left. Really like the response from Quinn Ewers. He was not good early.
That's what you want to see from a leader. Battle back, find ways to get success even whenever it looks ugly.
Showing some resiliency in this game. See what's left in the tank for Wyoming. Backwards. Anthony Hill Jr. Xavier Worthy calls him a force of nature.
Mama, there go that man. Finds a way. Tavondre says splits the double. And then Anthony Hill Jr. comes to clean him up. What a great play by those two guys, not letting Harrison Whaley get loose anymore tonight.
He's just got this childlike enthusiasm, love for the game, but when it's time to go, he turns it on and plays with an unmatched intensity. Here in the Texas staff talk about Anthony Hill. Reminded me a lot of the stories that I heard about VY in his playing days on the offensive side of the football. 3rd and 8 for Svoboda, pressured and hit. And there he is, Byron Murphy, when he's not calling in. Touchdown passes from quarterbacks, he's dropping them in the backfield. They got the pressure there to set up a 4th down.
That's where this Longhorn pressure comes into play. You can't block them all, and even if you have a man on them, there's still somebody being able to make a play. Byron Murphy shows exactly why he was one to be reckoned with on that defensive line.
He is so good.
Absolutely. And apparently on both sides of the ball.
We weren't even aware that he could haul in touchdown catches. 4th and 8. Wyoming, plenty of time to get the punt off. And Xavier Worthy retreating to the 25. Oh, he's making a move. Whittington gives him a block. He's got real estate. A block from Crawford. Keelan Robinson is running with him. Gets a block from Burke and is taken down at the 44-yard line. Oh, Xavier. X marks the spot for excellence. A lot to like about the man with number 1 on his chest.
Absolutely, extremely dynamic. Made the guy eat turf on the way of this dynamic and explosive run right there. Xavier Worthy is that dude.
Longolendo here with Fozzie Whitaker. Fozzie, Keelan Robinson typically uses his speed to run away from contact. Not on special teams.
How about him utilizing his speed to take out that cowboy punter right there? I don't think he knew what he was in for, but Keelan Robinson made sure he found out very quickly.
Somehow that was only a 32-yard return, even though I'm pretty sure he ran 80 yards reversing fields. Brooks staying up, Christian Jones trying to keep him moving forward. And he does. Jonathan Brooks, really, it's been an eye-opening performance for him because where the Wyoming defense is at its best is up the middle, and that's where he has consistently attacked all night long. And it's a really good line for him, over 150 yards.
Absolutely. Talking about yards and rushes that go for 5 yards or more, you can add that to his category again. 6-yard gain for Jonathan Brooks on that play.
Got a really good 1-2 punch with him and C.J. Baxter when he returns. Here's Jaden Blue. Brings a little more make you miss than Baxter and Brooks, and it brings that upper end speed.
You kind of see some differences in the stylistic of the way that the plays are called. You see Blue has a little bit more speed, so they're trying to get him to the outside, get him one cut, get vertical. Just wasn't there right on that play.
3rd and 3. And there is Blue. Blue will move the chains. Ball is out. Wyoming has it. And Jaden Blue coughs it up. That will lead to I'm sure, an in-depth conversation on the sideline.
Yes, that is the first offensive turnover that this Texas team has committed this season, and it comes at the hands of the running back. It pains me to say that as a running back, but the critical part about this is that you're 5 minutes and 56 seconds left in this game. You know they're going to be stripping the ball. I'm sure Coach Choice has already reiterated, take care of the football. They let one slip away right there. Jaden Blue will be talked to on the sideline about that.
Standout defensive tackle Jordan Bernaloni is there to make the stop and force the fumble. Bernaloni, preseason first team all Mountain West Conference. Little sweep action. And that is Asante. Solid pickup on first down. That's the big play guy that's been relatively held in check, but doesn't have a lot of catches on the season. Although the 2 catches he had last week against Portland State both went for big hitters and touchdowns.
Yep, Coach Polisak talking about ways they wanted to attack this Texas defense. The inside zone was one, attacking the C-gap, and then utilizing the jet sweep as we saw there with Asante.
Wayland in motion. DQ James with the carry. Anthony Hill takes him down. What is it about Anthony Hill that's allowed him to make such an impact so quick?
Man, he has a nose and a knack for the ball. Wherever the ball is, you can find Anthony Hill there. He makes a great read right there on the inside zone play. He slow plays it, waits for the running back to cut back, and then boom, here I am like a jack-in-the-box, pop him up, find a way to get DQ James down on the ground.
Top linebacker recruit in the class of 2023. And I'm just going to say it brings back some memories of Derek Johnson in terms of a linebacker making an impact from day one on the 40 acres. James is tripped up pretty close to the marker. Saying first down, move the chains. DQ from the Dallas area, standing in at 5'7", 170. Tough runner for his size as well. It's a Wyoming team that should make a run in the Mountain West. They lost their final 3 games last season after a really good start. That correlated with an injury to Andrew Peasley. Suffered a concussion at the end of the season. The team just was not right after that, as Javon Tapp, another young fella, makes a stop. But even though Wyoming was picked 6th in the preseason poll in the Mountain West, they still led the conference with the most selections to the preseason all-conference team. I don't get that.
Yeah, the math is not mathing on that right there. Whenever you have some great players, they show up in great ways, and we already seen some of those guys flashing as they've created turnovers on the defensive side and controlled the line of scrimmage on the offensive side early on in this game.
The pickup of Harrison Whaley, getting him back healthy, that is going to be huge for the Cowboys, as that is Jamari Farrell, junior out of Mission Viejo. It's brought down by Jamon Tapp, but not after picking up the first down.
I'm actually still surprised to see how much control this offensive line is able to put a push on this Texas defensive line. We saw the last couple of drives, Texas find a way to get that momentum, but it seems as though Wyoming just going back to the bread and butter. I know they're down 21 points, but it's still a lot happening that makes me wonder, how does Texas stop the run game in the future for teams that can do it at a more efficient clip or with higher caliber players down the line? Well,
Fozzie, let's get to tonight's Big 12 highlights, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. The early game was wild with Kansas State following the Missouri. Missouri kicked the longest field goal in SEC history at 61 yards.
Wow. What an unbelievable finish right there. I got to see that at home, and it was a great game all the way through.
Wait, hold on. You want to try the telestrator with Oklahoma State? Oklahoma State, you can do it. This is Fozzie's first attempt at the telestrator. Pretty close. That's good. That's solid. South Alabama takes them down 33-7. BYU, the newcomer, over Arkansas, 38-31. West Virginia, 17-6 over Pittsburgh. And it's TCU over Houston. That's going. Complete the circle. Come on, Fozzie.
It didn't work.
Come on, Fozzie.
My apologies, everybody.
I mean, I can't guarantee you ever going to have another shot at this. It's the last game on Longhorn Network, and, you know, you need to go out with a bang with your telestration work. Swoboda flipping it out to Trayton Welch. Welch to the 15, and he is brought down by Derek Williams Jr., freshman out of Louisiana.
Like I mentioned, Wyoming, even though they are down 21 points right now, they are still playing as if everything is on the line, and that's what you want to see. Evan Swoboda staying very calm, cool, and collected in a pocket, finding his outlet in Welch for a big gain to help extend this drive, put them in the red zone.
2 minutes and change left for the Wyoming Cowboys. James with a carry, trying to bounce it left side. There is a flag down, and he's dropped by Keaton Crawford. Nice pursuit there by Crawford. Let's check out the flag.
Offside. Defense number 45 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that is going to be against Vernon Broughton.
Another one of those procedural penalties that could be cleaned up. Obviously, you don't want to have those happen at all in the game, but especially late in the game, whenever the game is out of hand, you don't want to slow it down or give Wyoming any other opportunities to make plays and put more points on the board.
Clock keeps running. 1:45 left. James gets the carry between the tackles inside the 5-yard line. Derek Williams again. He's in. We got some of the young pups in there. The young LaFowl, freshman from Hawaii, number 18 at linebacker, getting some run. There's Malik Muhammad. He's a true freshman. Has played some major minutes and dropped for a loss. Vernon Broughton, although Turf Monster got DQ James there.
Well, that's one way to make up for that neutral zone infraction right there. Go get a TFL for the amount of yardage that you almost gave up on the penalty. So big play for TFL and Vernon Broughton. See if they can find a way to stop this Wyoming offense from scoring, or can Wyoming punch it in for the last minute?
The game within the game right here. Pride on the line for both these teams. Swoboda, play action, rolling. Anthony Hill recognizes. He's going to late break on Swoboda, but that is incomplete in the end zone. And it will be a 3rd and goal. Got to imagine, really with nothing to lose at this point, 2-down territory for Wyoming.
Absolutely. Look for them to try to hit a quick out. I wouldn't be surprised if they take that same mentality, have the quick out turn up into a wheel, try to throw it into the back corner of the end zone as an opportunity for them to put points on the board.
Texas defense allowed a touchdown on the opening possession, a 62-yard run by Harrison Whaley. They have not allowed a touchdown since. 3rd and goal. Play clock winding down. Swoboda rolling to his right, throwing on the line, and that is Gillenborg in for the touchdown, but there is a flag right at the goal line.
Penalty, I think they're going to get called for offensive pass interference.
Ooh.
Pass interference, offense, number 81, 15-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
So one tight end wiping out a touchdown catch for another tight end. That's Welch, 81, called a little bit of a pick there.
It's a big play, a big penalty right there. Wipes out a touchdown and pushes you back outside of the 20-yard line. It's a huge, huge mistake by Wyoming.
Wyoming 4-13 on 3rd down. 1 2 in their red zone possessions. The other lone score is a field goal. Conservative call to James. And James is brought down by Javon Tapp. Redshirt freshman from Donaldsonville, Louisiana.
Surprised by the play call right there. I thought they'd stay a little more aggressive, try to put points on the board going off in that 3rd quarter, but seems as though that'll be it.
How about this? Texas moves to 3-0 for the first time since 2012.
Wow.
It's been far too long.
Too long.
Tell me how concerned you were at halftime.
I was very concerned, and I still have concerns, but a win is a win. Texas still needs to find a way to shut down that inside zone. Teams are going to look at that moving forward and see Texas as a susceptible option in running the game, running in the middle, especially with the inside zone. So concern was there. Texas found a way to make the adjustments at halftime and put on a big show in the fourth quarter again.
Big 12 play starts next week against Baylor. Texas looking good going into the start of conference play. So the final Texas football game on Longhorn Network, in no way, shape, or form is it about us. But I got to tell you, dream come true to be able to share these moments with the Texas fan base. On behalf of everyone at Longhorn Network, thank you for allowing us into your home. We appreciate you.
Welcome to Texas Game Day Final, presented by Postmates.
All right, Texas finishes up non-conference play at 3-0 as they get ready to head to Waco after this one, 31-10 over Wyoming. Texas a 30-point favorite. A win is a win. They come out on top of to 3-0 for the first time in 11 years. Fellas, how are we feeling? An interesting game. It was really 3 quarters. The first 3 was kind of the Texas team we saw against Rice. Fourth quarter was the one we saw last week in Tuscaloosa.
Well, I think Griff said it best in pregame, right? You got to just find a way to win.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, this was not a pretty game. You really wanted to see Texas come out the gates hot, on fire, and really, like, make a statement after the statement win, right? It didn't happen. But at the end of the day, they turned it on when they needed to turn it on. They pulled away late in the game and showed that they are still someone to be reckoned with.
Oh yeah, I mean it's you're happy because they pulled it out, but the expectations, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But they found a way, and literally Xavier Worthy sprung off the big run when it came to the yards after catch, and then you go with the interception for a touchdown. Ewers managed to punch the ball in. They started finding ways. The fourth quarter team tonight is the same team we thought we was going to see for 4 quarters, which was also the same team we saw in the fourth quarter last week. But again, they found a way to win. The most important thing is you're 3-0.